Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be ranking all the areas in the game Hollow Knight. Now this Hollow Knight has a decent number of areas. You can see them all on screen here. It gets cut off a bit because I'm just gonna tell you there's no City of Tea in the game. It's the City of Tears, but I'll be sure to say the actual name, not cut off whenever I get to it. So I think it's time to jump right in. We're gonna start. I guess it's in alphabetical. No, yeah, it's in alphabetical order because Ancient Basin is like one of the last areas in the game, so I got really confused. There's big spoilers, by the way. If you don't want to get spoiled, you should probably leave. Ancient Basin is where the void stuff. No, that's the abyss. Never mind. Messed up. The abyss is a sub area in the Ancient Basin, and since it's not here, I'll count it as part of it. So Ancient Basin is the whole void area where the king's castle is. So it's a pretty, well, not really the king's castle, where the king's mold that has the king's castle inside its mind is, because I don't know, dream lore, complicated Hollow Knight story. I think it gets a B. It's a decent area. Like it's really small and it's nothing special, but I feel like it does its job as being like that final area where you get all the void stuff there. You find the White Palace. Like it's pretty cool. The City of Tea, or the City of Tears. It gets an S tier. This one's one of the best areas. It's a huge city that sort of like connects to a lot of different places. I really like how you have to like Greenpath, which comes up later. It sort of exists as like a pilgrimage to the City of Tears. That's how it works in its current form. So when you eventually able to get to the City of Tears doing that, it's like a complicated jumping parkour puzzle, and you eventually get past it. It feels really good to go into this huge city, and you have like the music's great. So I think that's why City of Tears, it has that effect that a lot of it has, like the ambience that's really great. Another great thing about it is you constantly come back there because there's so many important things here. The nailsmith that lets you upgrade your nail is here. The relic seeker Lem, who you sell relics to. I'll be honest, I never used him because I was always scared that relics had some other use. They don't, but that's just happened. And then we have trying to think. There are more NPCs here. You have two stag stations here. That really shows how huge it is when you have two stag stations in one area. So I think that's really it with it. But it leads into a lot of different areas. It leads into we're gonna get to it soon. The Royal Waterway, which then takes you to the Ancient Basin. So the way you keep revisiting it, like, because it goes from an early game area to a really late game area, it's really cool the way it's done. The Soul Sanctum is a sub area here where when the whole lore behind the soul people. They had a name, but I really can't remember now. I think there's a Soul Twister, the Soul Master, so I guess it's just the soul people, and how they were like experimenting with soul is cool. So like overall, City is definitely one of the best areas in the game. Crystal Peaks, I didn't like Crystal Peaks. I'm gonna be honest, it was a bit maze-like, like too maze-like for my liking, because it felt like once I got in there, I was trapped there forever, and I didn't like that. Like I eventually got out, of course, but I didn't like feeling so confined to that area because no other area really does that besides the City of Tears. But the way the City of Tears is set up, where you get locked in, but then it shows you all the different, like you get to do different stuff and you find exits pretty quickly after exploring. So that's why City of Tears doesn't really get it. But Crystal Peaks doesn't really have anything to make up for that maze like trap it did. Now Deepnest is an awful scary area, but that's kind of the point. So I think it gets like a middle of the road B tier because I hate it, but you're meant to hate it. It's meant to be this dark place you need to trudge through, but and that means I don't like it, but it does its job really. Like you have to get through this place with enemies popping out everywhere, and I mean I'm never gonna go there again. But like some of my most memorable moments, like the whole Nosk fight where like you see yourself, they all happen in Deepnest, and that's pretty cool. It also has a dreamer in it, so that means you actually have to come here. Same with the City of Tears, but I forgot about it. Dirtmouth is Dirtmouth. There's not much to do in Dirtmouth, but it's the only place where you actually it's a village. It's the fading town, as it says there. It's one of the few places where there's actual like people in abundance, and I really like I like having the actual characters there, and it feels like a community. And all the characters in Hollow Knight are really well written, and you end up liking them all. But they all end up in really awful situations. But in Dirtmouth, they're all living pretty decent lives. So that's really why I like it. Now, Og Canyon. It's actually Fog Canyon, but it says Og Canyon here. Fog Canyon, I don't know. There's these jellyfish enemies, and if you kill them, their insides come and they explode at you. That's really annoying. But like forgetting about those that one enemy, it's a pretty nice area. You got there's the dreamer here, which we're taking into account all the three dreamers. The one in Deepnest, the one in Fog Canyon, and the one in City of Tears. And that's really all you can talk about. There's isn't really much going on here. I like the idea that you come here early game, but you don't have access to the map of the area until late game. That's a pretty cool concept. The Forgotten Crossroads definitely get an A because of how they're really cool. Like the way you go there, like it's arguably the first area in the game because you use Howling Cliffs as sort of like a tutorial, but it's only a small part of it, and then you go to Deep Dirtmouth where nothing happens, and then you end up in Forgotten Crossroads. But then it ends up becoming like a late game area by the time you need to come back to defeat the Hollow Knight in the Temple of the Black Egg. Like it gets that's the only thing I don't like. That's what brings it not S tier. It becomes the infected Crossroads at one point, which is cool and all. But and I like that they added in harder enemies and everything. I like that. I absolutely hate that it blocks paths. Because all that does is just make it more annoying to get around. Then the worst part about it is your map doesn't update to show the blocked paths. So it's just like, oh, the map says I go this way, so you go that way, then boom, just a wall in your way. Like, yeah, that really bugs me. So that's what that brings it down. But Forgotten Crossroads itself is amazing. But once it goes infected, not so much. Fungal Wastes isn't not really much going on here. You have the Mantis Village, that's cool, but like I don't have anything I can really say about Fungal Wastes. It's kind of there. Now Greenpath, nah, ignore that. Now Greenpath's pretty cool because that's where Un is. Un is a slug, and we almost all worship Un because Un is great. It's Un. But anyway, Greenpath is cool because it's sort of like the first time the game opens up in a way. Because in the Crossroads, you kind of have to do you go beat False Knight, then you go to the snail, and he gives you the spell that lets you go and get into Greenpath. But once you get into Greenpath, you don't really have much of a direction. And Hornet 1 is here. Hornet 1 is one of my favorite fights. Like, it was really hard early game, but it felt like fair. Hornet 2, which we might end up talking about when we get to Kingdom's Edge. Probably not, though, because it's not as big a part of it as Hornet 1 was here to me. It's such kind of, like, Hornet 2 more so, it feels more unfair, because it's harder, of course, but Hornet 1 feels like every time you mess up, it's your fault, which is represented in every boss in this game. Like, it never feels cheap, unless you're doing, like, Radiant stuff in the God Home, but that's like artificial difficulty inflation they put in. But Hornet 1 I think like exemplifies how perfect it is. Especially like now if I go back and do Hornet 1, I can beat it pretty easily, and I think that really it makes me feel how far I've grown. Greenpath also has great like layout, like exploring around the grassy areas it's nice. Howling Cliffs. There's nothing really to do in Howling Cliffs. The only thing I can think of is Stagnest is here, but you don't do anything in Stagnest. All it does is like it completes last Stag's, or I guess Old Stag now since you're in Stagnest. It completes Old Stag's like character arc, but you don't really do anything there. And then, one of the nailsmiths is there. I believe Mato. I don't know how I've pronounced it in the past. I don't think I've ever had to say it out loud. Let's go with Mato. Like he's there and he teaches you a nail art, but you don't really have any reasons to come here. There's a couple of charms dotted around. I remember I had to come here for Baldur Shell, but there wasn't really anything special about Howling Cliffs. Kingdom's Edge is a really cool area because it houses Bardoon. Bardoon is this really cool caterpillar guy, and he's a great guy. And it also has a Coliseum of Fools, which is, I feel like that probably makes this be one of the areas I spent the most time in, just by Coliseum of Fools alone. So that's pretty cool. It has some annoying primal aspids, which is one of the hardest enemies in the game. I'm not lying, because like they always hit you no matter what you try. Like there's not really much going on here, but this is where Hornet 2 is, by the way, but it's not really as big a part. But the couple of stuff that are going on, that's pretty cool. Queen's Gardens, or as I like to call it, Oon's Gardens, because White Lady stole it from Oon. And nothing's really going on in Queen's Garden. I think I put it above Fog Canyon. Like, I don't really... It was cool, like, getting to see the infected mantises. And that's really pretty much it. And then you go to and then you find the queen. She gives you half of King Soul, and then you leave. It's also part of the Delegate Flower quest, but I really associate that more with Resting Ground, which will be the next thing we talk about, than Queen's Gardens. And I guess it would. I didn't have Cloth die here because I was too scared in Deepnest and didn't clear out all the enemies to make Cloth come out of hiding. So Cloth didn't die. So maybe that's why I don't care about it as much as some other people, because they have like that memory of Cloth coming in and dying. But it's just Queen's Gardens to me. Resting Grounds. There's nothing really going on in Resting Grounds. I mean, I like it, but it's pretty boring, all things considered. I think it only has the one boss. Yeah, it only has 0, and he's one of the dream bosses are kind of weird. I'm not sure if they're fully counted. Royal Waterways, annoying. Yeah, but it goes to the top of D tier because it has Dung Defender in it, and Dung Defender is really cool. And the Hive. This is one of my favorite areas. It's definitely gonna. I'm trying to think. Oh, I'm moving City of Tears now. Yeah, it's definitely gonna go here. Hive is really cool. It has sort of bee things where there's bees flying around everywhere, and it's like one of the nicest designed areas overall. But the thing that really sticks out about it is what it houses Hive Knight, which is one of my favorite bosses in the game. But it also, at the end, you get the Hive Blood Charm, which makes you immune to bees. So it means this is the only area where you can just equip that and just walk around and like explore. You don't have to worry about the enemies. And that's really cool. And it really makes it stick out. So anyway, guys, be sure to comment down below what your favorite area is. From the looks of it, I didn't realize this, but I guess Dirtmouth is my favorite area. I never really considered it an area, but seeing here, it's my favorite. Be sure to comment down below what your favorite is. Also, be sure to like this video if you liked it. And also, just make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, because it really helps me out. And you'll be able to see more tier list videos in the future. I have a Pokemon Nuzlocke series going on right now. We just beat the Ghost type gym, so we're gonna have to be seeing what's going on later on. And that's pretty much it for this video. So, okay, everyone, stay cool.